Well, shit. So, we just found out that nuns are fucking crazy and violent and apparently kill people and keep them in dungeon-style rooms where they torture them. So, yeah, I don't have to tell you guys that I don't think that the nun that we captured was the real culprit behind what was happening. I think she was an accomplice, but I don't think she was behind it, because I don't think I don't think that that there might not be another woman that's behind this, or that the woman might not have been behind this. I think that it's very possible that she's definitely not the killer. If that were the case anyway, the game would be over way too soon. And also, taking into consideration, this is similar to what happened in Karo no Shoujo, where, like, you know, we got the teacher that was killing people, and it seemed like he might have been the culprit, but he was not. He was not the main culprit behind everything, although he was kind of, in his own way, helping out, maybe unknowingly, but he still was kind of doing his own thing. And then the real culprit revealed himself, so yeah, I can already tell you guys we are not done yet. But anyways, it only gets more interesting from here. From what I remember, we are going to discover that there is something more going on behind the scenes, and it's fairly interesting. So hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough so far. The few of you that are watching, I know this game is fairly obscure, but I really kind of want to expose this game to more people, because I think it's a really good game. It deserves more attention. 3 days after that horrible night, I'm finally discharged from the hospital, covered head to toe in bandages. I've got bruises all over. What's more, I sustained a deep wound from taking a hatchet to the left shoulder. It can't exactly be written off as a light injury. Yeah, he got fucked up pretty bad. But since I couldn't stand being cooped up in that boring hospital room for days on end, I forced them to discharge me. That's kind of how it was when I was in the hospital for something. I didn't really have a bad injury or anything, so I didn't want to, but they wanted me to stay in the hospital, and I really didn't want to stay there, because being in the hospital is not fun, like, especially like being there overnight, because it's really hard to get to sleep, because there's so much going on all the time. So yeah, you really don't want to be in the hospital, or at least if you can help it, you really don't want to stay in the hospital. Ah, shit. Waves of throbbing pain clamp down on me. The pain radiates out from the side of my head, where that nun clocked me pretty hard. Disgusted, I unraveled the bandages around my forehead and tossed them onto the ground. The doctors examined me and found no abnormalities with my head. However, the intermittent headaches plaguing me don't appear to be ending anytime soon. Damn, it's cold. My exhalations send up puffs of white as I crane my head to look upward at the skies above Ueno. It's covered in gray clouds. The sight alone is enough to make one's spirits sink. And when I arrive in front of the Yukishiro, Shugo-sama? Hatsune is waiting for me, under the cold winter sky. Hey, Hatsune, come on now, you shouldn't be standing around outside when it's so chilly out. I don't mind at all, really. Forget that for the moment. Please hand me your things, Shugo-sama. Lugging stuff around is bad for your injuries. Nah, you don't have to do that for me. Shugo-sama, I'll carry it for you. Her expression is intense. She's dead serious. Alright. I reluctantly assent. She really is worried about me. I can't just shunt aside those feelings of hers. Thanks, then. Sure, allow me to take care of it. Hatsune slowly takes the luggage from me. Take care of my things, maid. Let's get going, shall we? However, she remains unmoving, her face downcast, still clutching my things to her chest. Hatsune? In a soft whisper, she says, I was really worried about you. I heard that you sustained some horrible injuries. She averts her eyes downward once more. Hatsune, I'm really sorry for making you worry. I used my uninjured hand to pat Hatsune on the head. I won't do anything crazy from now on, I promise. Okay. She bobs her head in agreement and leads the way into the Yukishiro. A promise, huh? I, of all people, know perfectly well that those words were nothing but a white lie. At last, we reach my room, Hatsune having carried my things all the way here. Thanks, Hatsune. This'll do for now. Sure. Pardon me. She gives me a curt bow. What will you be doing now, Shugo-sama? I could prepare a meal for you if you'd like. Nah, I haven't been back here for a while. I'll just take it easy for a little bit. Sure, I understand. In that case, I'll be back with some tea. She then bows again, more politely, and vanishes down the hallway. And the moment I slide open the door to my room, Oh, guess who? Shugo-san? I discovered Kazuna and Toji waiting inside. Apparently, the moment Kazuna heard I was being discharged from the hospital, she ditched theater rehearsal and came here. She also ended up dragging the unsociable Toji along with her. I'm sorry, Kazuna. What are you apologizing for all of a sudden, Shugo-san? Well, even though I was facing a crisis, I said some harsh things to Kazuna at the time. My actions ate away at me during my stay in the hospital. You saved my life back there. Oh no, don't be ridiculous. I'm really sorry. I know I'm super useless, and all I did was get in your way all the time, Shugo-san. She waves her hands around in a panic. No need to be so modest. If you weren't there, Kazuna, this reckless oaf wouldn't have made it out of there alive. Well, she does have a point. Exactly. Well, you've got a point there. The reckless comment irks me a bit, but I'm vulnerable right now. I'll just go ahead and ignore that. Hearing you say that is kinda... She's starting to fidget and get embarrassed. Kazuna's not the sort of girl who can keep her emotions bottled inside. Anyhow, thank you, Kazuna. Sure. Kazuna nods happily. And then, after a lengthy chat, Kazuna tells us she needs to return to the theater to rehearse. Yeah, opening day of the production is right around the corner. The truth is, I ditched rehearsal to come visit you today. Wow, you're pretty busy, huh? Yep, I gotta give it my all since I landed a big role this time around. Anyway, if you'll excuse me, Shugo-san, I'll stop by to visit another time. She waves her hand at us spunkily and leaves the room. I'll be heading out too. Toji then proceeds to stand up. Sure, you should accompany Kazuna back. I know. Toji turns around to look at me as she's about to leave. And about that other matter. Other matter? The mistress that the Hand of Death is chasing after. I'll have some information for you soon. You better be ready. That's what she leaves me with. My room is strangely silent after both ladies have departed. It's been a few days since I've been back here. I flop down onto the tatami. If I close my eyes, I can hear the hustle and bustle coming in from the street outside, the noise that I've gotten used to over this past year. None of us ended up mentioning Reen in our chat. We just couldn't find it in ourselves to bring her up. Someone knocks on the door while I'm dozing on the tatami. Open up, bitch. I sit up and call toward the sliding door. Come on in. Pardon me, sir. Madame Ojaku shows herself inside. Ah, madam. I quickly adjust my posture and bow my head toward her. I apologize. I should have gone to see you. You didn't have to come here and... Don't worry about it. You'll make me feel all awkward if you act formal like that. The madam then takes a seat across from me. I guess, but... The funeral services for Reen and Otaha have been conducted the day before yesterday. I wasn't able to attend due to being hospitalized. I sneak a peek at her face. I'm not surprised at what I see. The madam looks absolutely exhausted. Looks like today's gonna be a cold one. She suddenly breaks the silence. Yeah, the weather hasn't been clearing up. It's really been bringing everyone down, huh? Yeah, I can't argue with that. I don't think this sort of weather will be very good for your wounds either. She points toward my left shoulder with her pipe. Who knows? The doctor said it'd take a while. I see. I suppose I got what I deserved. I'd allow myself a derisory chuckle. Now that I think about it, why don't I have Hatsune take care of you? Huh? I'm sure it's rather inconvenient eating and bathing with your arm like that. Please put her to good use. Well, you're gonna ask her to bathe us too? Well... Oh god. Is this really a choice? Why is this a choice? Okay, so apparently we should ask Ojaku to do it instead. What is... Hold on, what is thank her for her kindness? Is that just... I mean, I guess that doesn't seem to matter. Yeah, in every choice, or like for both the normal end and the true ending, which we are going for the true ending, it's basically just ask her to do it. So I don't really know why thanking her for her kindness and just trying to do it ourselves is a bad thing. I mean, because every walkthrough says just ask her to do it, so I guess that's what we're gonna do. And if I'm remembering correctly, I know where this is about to lead, and if that's the case, then we're gonna be doing some skipping. I'm grateful for her offer, but no, I can't be having Hatsune wash my body for me. She's still pretty young after all. I don't think she would mind, but if that's how you feel about it, I won't force you, sir. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree, I don't think she would mind, but is still a little bit weird, considering she may or may not be underage. But I don't know. Underage in Japan is like, maybe like under 13 or something. She looks a bit upset. I feel like teasing her a bit when I see that face. Well, let's do it this way then. Why don't you watch my back for me, madam? Okay. Well, this is about to turn left. Huh? She's rendered speechless from shock. Yeah, it'd be a hassle for you, right? Don't worry about it. I'll manage on my own. However, Madame Ojaku cuts my joke off midway. Sir, you're hitting on me, right? Huh? That wasn't my intent at all. Well, a woman can't back down when you've gone this far. I accept, sir. She gives me a bewitching smirk. It appears as though my little joke has backfired. Yes, it has. Thanks. The madam chuckles, a deep laugh from the bottom of her throat. You're still terrible at hitting on the ladies, sir. Oh, come on. That really wasn't what I had intended. Sometime during our conversation, I realized that the sun's already begun to set. Whoops, I didn't realize it was this late already. I'll be taking off then. She stands up and slides open the door. Madam. What is it? I hesitate. There's something I was unable to bring myself to say to her when she visited me at the hospital 2 days ago. I'm sorry. Sorry I wasn't able to save Reen. I keep my eyes downcast, unable to look the madam in the face. If only I'd been a little faster. Well, no matter how much I pour my heart into them. In the end, my words are nothing but cheap excuses. Sir, when I raise my head, she's looking at me with a sad smile on her face. You don't have to do this to yourself anymore. You came back to us alive. Isn't that enough already? Madam, it looks like she's suddenly struck by an idea. Ah, right. I was thinking about paying a visit to her grave tomorrow. Will you accompany me, sir? Visiting Reen's grave. I was planning on going by myself anyway. This is a good opportunity. Yes, of course I will. After Madame Ojaku leaves, I sit there vacantly, staring at the scenery outside my window. My mind is blank. I kill time by doing nothing at all. Night descends upon the city. I step out from the Yukishiro's front entrance. It's time for a stroll. It's being opened back up for business starting tonight. However, I don't see the usual raucous crowds. Rumors have probably gone around about the 2 prostitutes who were murdered. I stop under a street lamp and light up a cigarette. Well then. It looks like the Ueno murders have been solved for now, but the conclusion was something I would never have imagined even in my wildest dreams. However, there are still several questions left unanswered. Fukamizu's true motives, why she left Otaha's body in that state, and I sink into deep thought, my mind churning away as I stare at the falling snow. You look better than I expected, Shugo. Suddenly, someone addresses me from behind. Arashima-san. For the time being, I show Arashima-san into my room and have Hatsune bring us some tea. Pardon me. Hatsune leaves after placing teacups in front of us. I saw Arashima-san once while I was hospitalized, but we weren't really able to talk then. He listens carefully while I give him a detailed rundown of my injuries. You know, you really played quite a big part in this case. Nah, I did nothing of the sort. His eyes crinkle in amusement after hearing me say that. You really are a man without any sort of ambition. You refused thank you cards and having your name printed in the paper. If you had played your cards right, you would have been hailed as a hero and gone down in history as a legendary detective. But knowing you, I suppose your behavior should come as no surprise. Well, that's because I had the fact that Toji and I were involved in this hidden from the press. Toji was vehemently against having her name appear on the headlines. I'm not surprised considering her profession. Of course, I also didn't want anything to do with the hordes of unscrupulous reporters swarming around for scraps. I'm just not that type of person, and besides, there's no way I could accept thank you cards when something that ghastly happened. It was a truly depressing event. Well, get used to it. Reen's body, along with the corpses of 2 other girls, were discovered inside that basement. The 2 girls had been treated as missing persons up until that point. Until their bodies were discovered, the authorities were unable to put a solid count on the number of people Fukamizu had murdered. Oh, not to mention, we still haven't found Yura yet. That's also another thing we haven't done. We still need to find Yura, because she's supposedly still alive, and there's also some evidence that she might be still alive too. The girls' lives were stolen from them unfairly, without any forewarning. If I could, I'd like to forget this all happened. Arashima-san narrows his eyes and scrutinizes me. Are you saying you no longer wish to be involved in the case? No, I didn't say that. I thought so. So at the very least, you want to know the full story about the case, right? We found out a whole boatload of things from her interrogation. Is this really okay with you, Arashima-san? I mean, telling me about it? Come on now. There's no need to let formality get in the way. You busted your ass working this case. Don't you want to hear about what we found? Fukamizu's testimony. I'd be straight up lying if I said no. Sure, if you please. Arashima-san then begins relaying to me the information they gleaned from interrogating the mass murderer, Fukamizu Kaoru. Fukamizu Kaoru was unable to have children. I don't see how the hell that should factor in anything. We discovered the medical records from when she was hospitalized 10 years ago. Apparently, when she had a tumor from her abdomen removed, a part of her uterus was taken out as well. Ugh. Why? She wanted to get married and dreamed of someday making a happy family with her husband. But that's when crisis struck. To her, realizing her own mental image of happiness was more important than actually being in love and having a child. Prior to the surgery, she'd always had a powerful imagination, but afterward, it got more intense. The illusion of happiness she built up inside her shell. In order to protect that dream, she was faced with the task of finding a new image for herself. She might have been within the realm of salvation if only she'd been able to reach out to someone for help. However, her parents were apathetic to her plight, and her friends spurned her and called her creepy. Loneliness, despair, and alienation. The shell she built around herself kept growing harder, and her mind steadily grew more warped. She wanted to live in a world where she had a loving family, where nobody could hurt her and everybody accepted her. That was the happiness she sought. And all of that could only come from God. And then Fukamizu encountered Christianity. Of course, she had no real interest in Christian doctrines. She was captivated by the tale of Jesus' conception, the virgin birth. It was a holy miracle in which Mary became pregnant without having coupled with a man. Before long, she gave birth to the Son of God. She had received a sign from heaven. She believed that in order to give birth to a child while lacking a uterus, she would require a miracle from God. It was a completely illogical delusion that totally ignored the laws of reality, but to her, it was all too real. She joined the Christian church and became a fervent soldier of the faith, and everyone around her showered her with praise. However, her mind gradually became twisted from 10 years of praying for something that would never happen. Apparently, signs of her madness started popping up after she joined the faculty at Kaiō Academy. The girls at the academy possessed the possibility of obtaining the happiness so unfairly stolen from her. Was it jealousy, or perhaps envy? Regardless, the way she looked at her students was definitely not normal. It eventually led to her getting blood on her hands. Her first victim was a student who wasn't feeling well, Isaka Shizuku. Under the pretense of taking her home in the carriage, she instead imprisoned the girl in that cellar. And that's how it all began. She probably changed her targets to streetwalkers so that the students at Kaiō Academy wouldn't get suspicious. So, she was jealous of them because they had the potential of being able to get pregnant and have children, so therefore she killed them? I don't know, her motivations are kind of weird. Weird and just nonsensical, but, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how a lot of these, crazy people in real life are. Their motivations are usually pretty ridiculous and rarely make any sort of sense. I guess this kind of makes sense considering she couldn't get pregnant or anything. So, I mean, I feel that part of the story, it's kind of sad. I feel bad for her there, but yeah, it sounds like she went fucking crazy. So, I feel like a teaching job probably isn't the best for somebody like her who is not all there mentally, might not be the most mentally sound person. But then again, this is also like the 1940s. I think this game takes place in the 40s or the 50s, so yeah, I don't think they really took all that into as much consideration as they would now. Arashima-san proceeds to give me a detailed rundown of Fukamizu Kaoru's testimony. She believed that by consuming the uteri of her victims, her own uterus would be reborn, and she would be blessed with the child of God. That was the miracle she... so that's where the cannibalism came in, I suppose. She ate the... God damn. Okay, so in Karo no Shoujo, the uterus is taken out. Here it's taken out and she fucking eats it. Like, yeah, why? That's... Oh, God. I can't believe she killed all those people over something so ridiculous. Well, I can. I can't wrap my head around it either. Anyway, there's no way to verify now whether she was just full of shit or not. Arashima-san shrugs. No way to verify? I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Yeah, last night Fukamizu bit off her own tongue inside her holding cell. That's ridiculous. What the hell were the guards doing? Arashima-san's face clouds over with displeasure at my question. Keep it down, Shugo. She was very obedient after she was arrested. Hell, she was even very forthcoming during the interrogation. The truth is, we let our guard down. When she was discovered collapsed inside her cell, it was already too late. I can't believe this. Fukumizo committing suicide. Is that really how this case is going to be closed, with that unsatisfying conclusion? Arashima-san, did Fukumizo admit to all the murders being her own work? Yeah, she said something to that effect before she died. What about it? Odaha's murder too? That strange, bizarre corpse in Ueno Park. Something inside me tells me that it isn't Fukumizu's work. The corpse in Ueno Park. Yeah, she did seem to admit to it, but let me be frank with you. She was really deranged when she was talking about that. So there are a lot of parts of her testimony we don't fully understand. I see. I guess I have no choice but to choke it down. Even if I want to confirm the truth, the crucial piece of the puzzle, Fukumizu, has already been silenced for all eternity. Are you really satisfied with this, Arashima-san, closing the case like this? Well, let's see. We've been steadily uncovering more evidence in that cellar beneath the church. We have a confession from the suspect. I see no reason to doubt what we have. He shrugs and flashes me a wry smile. I see. I reluctantly nod in agreement. I don't know, yeah, Oda's murder really doesn't make sense, too. Because her head was chopped off, her arms were chopped off, and she had, like, wings put on her back, and she was displayed in the park. That doesn't really add up with what Fukumizu was trying to do. Well, like, why would she do that if all she was doing so far was just trying to eat women's uteruses to rebuild her uterus? Like, that doesn't really seem to make sense when you take that into consideration. Oh, by the way, Shugo, how's the Kozuki case coming along? Have you made any progress? Arashima-san suddenly changes the subject. I don't really know. Truth be told, I haven't done any work on it at all since Odaha's murder. I plan to pick up the search again starting tomorrow. In reality, though, I have no idea how long it will take. I see. Well, I have no intention of prying into your business, but since I referred you to Kozuki, I was just a bit curious. Yeah, I understand completely. Right at that moment, a thought pops into my head. The incident from 10 years ago. Arashima-san might know something about Yura's accident, which Keiichiro refused to speak to me about. However, well, Kozuki didn't really tell me any of the details. Arashima-san promptly denies having any knowledge. I see. I do find it rather hard to believe that Kozuki Keiichiro would just mouth off to someone about a personal crisis that could potentially upset his social standing. Why do you want to know, Shugo? I was just a bit curious. I evade his question by making an ambiguous remark. No matter how busy he may be, it's rather uncharacteristic of Arashima-san to actually have all the details of a request on hand. Though, there's no way I can actually bring myself to say that to his face. After a short while, Arashima-san tells me he has some work left to do and departs for the Ueno police station. Now alone in my room, I let my frazzled mind wander. When suddenly... Well, that's surprising. That pathetic woman went and killed herself, huh? Oh, not you again. Go away, fuck. The closet door rattles open. What? You were in the fucking closet the whole time? Hey, Shugo. Well done. I'm overjoyed that you came back to me alive. It's Nana. You know, I was waiting inside this closet to surprise you, but then you came in with Inspector Arashima, and I was pretty much stuck until he left. She just babbles on and on after she opens her mouth. I know Nana's accustomed to doing some weird things, but there are limits, damn it. Well, I don't know, I think she kind of passed that limit when she asked us to choke and strangle her and just do all this weird shit. When the hell did eavesdropping become one of your hobbies, huh? Don't be rude, Shugo. I just happened to be hiding in a room where I could hear you two having your conversation. That's not the definition of eavesdropping, right? But the point remains, she heard every single word of our conversation. What's shameful is that you guys didn't even consider the possibility that other people might have been listening in, and started up your talk about confidential matters. How's that feel, huh? The possibility that there would be someone hiding inside my closet eavesdropping. Oh please, that's not even worth thinking about. Besides, there's something else. Nana doesn't even seem the least bit concerned about my displeasure. She just keeps running her mouth off like she usually does. The killer's loneliness, her cravings, the darkness in her heart. Even though cold blood ran through her veins, she still suffered inside. A commonplace but relatively moving story indeed. But was her cannibalism really motivated by the belief that it would heal her? Somehow, that just doesn't sit right with me. Nana continues murmuring to herself. I don't really like how it sounds either, but I can't just let her sit here and keep insinuating things. Nana, what's bothering you? Well, I just have a feeling that something's off. It's not actually grounded in anything, though. The purpose of Fukamizu-kun's cannibalism is similar to how old people with weak livers eat cow livers because it'll give them strength, right? Using a vulgar example to draw a connection, huh? Nana pays no heed to my cold reply and keeps right on talking. So in essence, you consumed the same body part as the part you wish to strengthen. It sounds a bit contrived to me, but I feel like it's too cut and dry for a lunatic to have come up with. Shugo, do you really think Fukamizu-kun, who only lived for the present moment, would go insane in such a logical manner? How the hell would I know? What's the matter, Shugo? Have you given up already? You know, that's the reason why you never matured. It also explains why you're getting dumber. Do you see now? A wise person like myself would have immediately come up with a hypothesis, you know. Don't tell me you... Nana cuts in as I'm about to finish with knows something again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, Shugo. You've read detective stories before, right? You should be familiar with this turn of phrase, then. The time is not yet ripe for us to discuss these matters, right? Nana cackles in satisfaction, the laugh coming from deep within her throat. It probably doesn't matter what I say to her at this point. However, there's still something I need to ask her about. Hey Nana, what the hell is this? I show her the key to the cellar. Whoa, you're looking pretty scary there, Shugo. Did it not help? My bad. Odds are, even I will blunder from time to time. That's not what I meant. I raise my voice in anger. Every time I talk to her, I end up getting irritated. Where did you get this key? Paying no heed to my frustration, Nana replies without missing a beat. Oh, come on. Of course I got it from the woman herself. What are you trying to say? Did you think I stole it, Shugo? The woman herself? That'd mean Fukamizu Kaoru. Yeah, the unprecedented psychotic murderer who butchered several young ladies. Her. Fundamentally speaking, criminals are loners. She was really happy when she realized that I wasn't going to tip anyone off about her. Deep down inside, I'm sure she wanted a friend. Nana smirks at me. Oh, so you basically somehow found out and promised to keep it quiet if she like did something for you. That's fuck. Oh my god, that's really fucked up. I can't believe you. I kinda can. The words Fukamizu spoke to me while we confronted each other in the cellar surfaced back into my mind. I'm ever so happy. I've had so many guests today. I've been wanting someone to spend my time with. So that wasn't a joke at all. She actually meant it. In that case. I was also interested in her, you know. We had such a pleasant meal together. I was able to eat some interesting things. Wait, that means you... The thought alone shakes me to the core. So you knew all along, and you let her go? And she also ate human flesh with her? Like, what? I really hope that's like a morbid joke. Because if it's not, then Jesus Christ. Her lunacy knows no bounds. I don't know. What do you think? She puts on a simpering smile. I really don't know what to think anymore. I think you should be thanking me, Shugo. I betrayed my lonely friend and gave you the key to the cellar. You know, she conducts herself according to her own interests and curiosity, paying no heed to laws or ethics. I really, really loathe Nana when she does that. Alright, speaking of friends, there's something else I meant to tell you. Nana pulls a letter out of her uniform pocket. One of my buddies at the academy is apparently an old friend of yours. She wants to meet with you, so I trust you'll take care of that. Thanks. She stuffs the letter into my pocket. Whoa, Nana. Oh, take this too. It's a present from me to you, since you're seriously injured. She tosses a box full of cakes at me. They're ohagi from Odawara, made with white rice flour. Half-killed, they call them. Make sure you eat up because they're rather tasty. Oh, but I really wasn't trying to make a jab at your condition with the half-killed business. That's just what they're called. Don't be offended, okay? I'm rendered speechless. Honestly, I've lost the will to even keep talking to her. Neato! Thanks for taking these off my hands. Well, my business here is concluded. I'll drop by again to hang out sometime in the future, Shugo. Nana exits my room, chuckling. I'm left with the letter and a box of those half-killed ohagi in my hands. Lying prostrate on top of the tatami, I ponder over the facts I've heard from both Nana and Arashima-san. Fukamizu Kaoru confessed and then committed suicide. It appears as though the case is closed on the string of bizarre murders in Ueno. However... Or is it? Something just doesn't add up. I think back to the moment when Rin disappeared. Why on earth did Fukamizu Kaoru summon Rin of all people? Her testimony didn't touch on Rin at all. Then who the hell called for her? And for what? The apprehension inside me shows no sign of abating. I don't like this one bit. When Arashima-san had smiled and said that the case was closed, was he really telling the truth? Is there yet another side to this sordid affair? I have no idea how long I've spent pondering things over.
Shugo-sama, the bath is open now.
Oh god. Hatsune's calm voice comes from the opposite side of the screen and jerks me out of my reverie. Oh, thanks, Hatsune. That's right. Well, I've pretty much boiled everything down for now. Let's go take a bath for a change of pace. Yeah, I think this is where things start to turn a little bit left. In the sexual way. Hatsune's waiting for me out in the hallway when I slide open the door. Could you call the madam for me?
Certainly. One moment, please.
Her tone sounds cold for some reason. Wait, don't be getting the wrong idea, Hatsune. Yeah, I just asked her to wash my back, you know. It's definitely not anything sexual. Just look at my arm. The madam's taking pity on me and offering her kind assistance. Assistance.
Yes, I'm well aware.
Hatsune flashes me a sparkling grin. So you prefer more mature ladies, Shugo-sama. Well, that I can't deny, but... Grieved by Hatsune's cold demeanor, I drag myself over to the bath. It looks like the madam's not here yet. I'm flooded with a sense of relief as I glance around the empty bath. I guess I'll just start out by rinsing myself off. Even though trying to bathe on my own is a difficult affair, I still feel kind of awkward for asking the madam to help me out. Well, I kind of would too. It's like, hey, I can't do this on my own. I honestly wish we could just drop the fact that I suggested it in the first place. It's making everything so awkward, especially when Hatsune knows about it. However, at that moment, I hear the curtains at the entrance to the bath being parted. I'm sorry to put you through all this trouble, madam. I turn around to face her. Okay, time to skip. I think this is about time. I hate doing that. For some reason it doesn't let me skip too. It's like, I've played this game before, but for some reason it does not let me skip that scene. God damn it. This is where I'm reminded that I am playing essentially porn, or a hentai, which, well, a hentai that kind of forces these sex scenes upon you. I mean, well, we had the choice not to do it, but I'm afraid to not do it because I'm not sure what's going to happen if we don't. But it just feels like it's forced upon you. That's what I don't like about these games sometimes, especially if you're trying to like just do a legit playthrough. It's like, no, we gotta try to find a way around that. Phew. After getting back to my room, I flop down on top of my futon and sigh. I kind of feel like I'm even more tired now than I was before my bath. Well, that's probably because of the release of endorphins. Anyway, I suppose it's inevitable, given what happened in there. Yeah, yep. I feel a sharp jabbing pain. It comes from the side of my head, the place where I got whacked by Fukamizu. I'll just curl myself up and silently endure until the pain goes away. It might be due to all my anxiety melting away since I've returned home. The dull aching sensation inside my head just doesn't seem to be going away. I suppose I might as well go to bed. At this rate, I can't even organize my thoughts properly. Sighing once again, I wriggle under the futon and close my eyes. Ugh. Thankfully, sleep steals over me almost immediately. Well, maybe we'll actually get back to the investigation now. So this time we're going to be looking for Yura, and not going over the Ueno murders, although the Ueno murders may or may not have something to do with Yura. And the next morning, Madame Ojaku is standing outside under the cold, cloudy winter sky. White puffs of air rise from her lips. Thanks for waiting, madam. I call out to her and make my way over to her side, crunching frost flowers underneath my feet. She turns toward me and flashes me a little smile when she hears my voice. Shall we get going then, sir? Sure. Well, at least fun time last night was on the house. We pass through the crowds in front of the train station as we head for the cemetery in Yunaka. Madame Ojaku keeps reminiscing about Rin and Notaha as I nod along and listen. She talks about the good times, the happy times. She seems to have an endless supply of fond memories with both girls. Remember that time we all had one huge orgy? That was fun. That was fun times. Now that you mention it, the thought suddenly pops into my head when the topic of Otaha comes up. Have Koyuki and Sarah not returned to the Yukishiro yet? Koyuki and Sarah is like the two prostitutes we just care the least about. It's like, oh wait, Rin went missing? Oh god. Everybody scramble, try to find her. Koyuki and Sarah missing? Wonder what happened to him. It's just like this ho-hum attitude, like, oh, okay, whatever. Nobody liked them anyway. Those two girls were Otaha's proteges. I haven't seen them at all lately.
Ah, those girls. When I peeked into their room earlier, I noticed that all their belongings had vanished.
What?
They probably left. I had an inkling this would happen at some point, as they were never very enthusiastic about the work to begin with.
A fleeting look of sadness passes over her face. I see. I just nod along robotically, unable to come up with any words to comfort her. The graveyard at Yanaka is 2 stops down the line. Both of us clam up as we approach our target destination. When we reach Otaha and Rin's grave, we clean the stone with water and place flowers on it. Why this grave, madam?
I did this because they didn't have any relatives. I had them buried as members of my own family.
I can hear the sadness in Madame Ojaku's voice as she replies to my question. I see. I crouch down in front of the marker and place my hands together. The faint scent of burning incense wafts over from nearby. After we finish paying our respects, the madam and I are on our way back to the Yukishiro when, suddenly, a light snow begins to fall. While we were standing in front of the grave, the madam reminisced fondly about the time she'd spent with both girls.
She was really attached to you, wasn't she?
And you were a dick and didn't return her feelings. Yeah. Since I'd made the Yukishiro my temporary home 1 year ago, Rin's cheerful personality had saved me from my frequent bouts of depression.
Sir, did you know this?
She suddenly directs a question at me.
You look exactly like your older brother. She was always telling me that with a smile on her face.
Rin had an older brother?
Yep, their family was torn apart by the war, and they never saw each other again after that. Apparently, they were really close. Rin must have been heartbroken.
That sure does explain a lot. I see. Rin always had a cheerful grin on her face. She never showed that sadness on the outside.
She often told me that she loved the smile you make when you're embarrassed. You really resembled her brother when you smiled like that, but that was news to me, since I only ever see you wearing a frown.
The madam turns to me with a sad smile.
You hear me, sir? You can't let this drag you down forever. That's not what you would have wanted, you know?
Yeah, I know. The feeling of loss makes my heart ache. Well, it's always been this way. I went off to war to protect my family, and when I came back, I became a police officer to uphold the law. However, I've never had the confidence to work toward protecting those who really deserve it. Tormented by my own powerlessness, I fled to the Yukishiro, but even then, I wasn't able to protect those who were important to me.
Sir?
Madame Ojaku now wears an intense, serious look on her face.
Please, tell me. Is this case closed? Will my girls be able to have peace of mind and pass on?
The madam's voice quavers slightly. Yeah. But that's a fucking lie! But is that really the truth? The seeds of doubt have already been planted deep inside my heart. However, don't you worry, madam. It's all over now. I can't find it in myself to answer any other way. Now that's some bullshit. Uh-oh. Guess it must not be over. Wait a minute. Oh, I remember this part. Okay. This is something else we're gonna have to be skipping because, more sexual stuff. Okay. All you missed there was a sex scene between the crazy religious woman who's always, like, out on the streets preaching about stuff, and, the supposed other suspect in the murder cases where, like, every time there's a intermission it says blank. So apparently blank and the crazy preacher woman were having sex for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he's a fan of the pussy. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't remember the exact reason why this is happening. Blank looks down at her with dead eyes as she lies upon the bed. A puppet such as herself will not serve as a substitute. Even fucking her to suppress his hunger is just a temporary measure. Oh, okay. Blank's vacant eyes brim with desire. All he seeks is one thing, and one thing alone, and that is... We'll never know. Chapter 3, Labyrinth. Starring David Bowie. Here I sit, with 2 letters in front of me. One of them is from Nana. According to her, it's a message an old acquaintance of mine entrusted her to give to me. It's been a long time since we've seen each other, Takashiro Shugo-sama. I could hardly contain my excitement upon learning you were Nana-san's older brother.
which led to me writing you this letter. If you're free, I would like to meet you at Dune the day after tomorrow. It's signed Ayasaki Takako. Ayasaki. The name sounds vaguely familiar. Something tells me she's connected to a case I worked on in the past. I wonder what she wants with me after all this time. Oh well, I guess I'll find out when I see her. Fortunately, I have free time then. I see no problems with meeting up. However, there's still one more letter. Doji came and dropped it off early this morning. As usual, it's short and to the point. Apparently, she has some information for me regarding the mistress affiliated with the Hand of Death. Oh, wait, alright, yeah. Okay, so this is going, so apparently we actually have some progress with the Yura case for once. We're to meet up at the cafe at 5 p.m. New information. Will it be a new lead that will get us closer to finding Kazuki Yura? Only one way to find out.
Come on, sir.
Open wide. Madame Ojaku giggles mischievously and sticks out her chopsticks at me. I can eat on my own, you know. Oh? What are you talking about?
You're injured, sir. Just shut up and do what I say.
But... Do you find this situation too embarrassing, perhaps? I'm in quite a fix. I know I'm too old to be fed like a child, but...
Come on, who cares? Nobody's looking.
However, she just chuckles and leans in close to me. Okay. I suppose I have no choice but to put up with it. And then someone just comes into the room. Did you notice anything special, sir? About what? You're quite dense, aren't you? Come on, don't you think today's breakfast tastes different than usual? It's because I made it. What you talking about? The menu itself hasn't strayed from the norm. There's grilled fish with fried tofu and miso soup, and bittersweet boiled taro with lotus root. In addition, we also have pickled eggplant and cabbage, as well as rice covered with dried sardines. It's simple, healthy fare, the kind of stuff you think of as mom's cooking. You know, today, I helped out in the kitchen too. I see. So this is your own cooking, madam? Uh-huh. Yep, that it is. Anyway, it's been quite a while since I've held a knife in my hand. I'm kind of worried about how it tastes. Nah, it's delicious. As good as the usual stuff I get. No, on the contrary, I think I like it better. Seriously? Madame Ojaku's face lights up with an expression of pride. I'm happy to hear you say that, sir. It means my skills still haven't rusted away yet. Well, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think you had this in you. Well, it all goes back a long, long time ago. I studied cooking like my life depended on it in order to please this guy I liked. I give her a half-hearted chuckle in reply. Honestly, I can't imagine the madam going all out like this. I get the impression that she's always been the dominant type, bossing men around and forcing them to make their own food and stuff. Yeah, it's gotta be love. Ignoring my rude mental image of her, the madam starts waxing hypothetical about cooking. Cooking requires love. If you don't put time and effort into doing it, then it won't taste good. On that note, the youngsters these days just don't cut it. They can't even slice katsuoboshi to save their lives. Right. Whatever the hell that is. Did you know the proper katsuoboshi has a light coating of fungus growing on the surface? Ugh, please no. Our wise predecessors discovered that putting fungus on it would help to preserve the flavor. Right. I don't really care. But all the youngsters these days just go, ew, gross, when they see fungus and end up throwing it out. Well, it is kind of disgusting. Right. That's unacceptable, you know, making such a basic mistake. Right. In the first place, cooking is... Oh my fucking god. Get me out of here. The madam's lecture about cooking ends up dragging on until noon. And shortly after lunch. I arrive at our designated meeting place at roughly the correct time. So why the hell are you here? My, that's rather rude of you. Even though I'm swamped with things to do, I came all the way down here to see you guys because I was worried. Does the phrase mind your own business ring any bells? Come on, Shugo, when have I minded my own business? Come on, Shugo, was that an attempt at sarcasm? That was horrible. You're way too blatant. I can read you like a book. Weren't we supposed to meet her like the day after tomorrow? We're meeting her like the same day she sent us the letter. Or I think, well, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think we got the letter yesterday. Excuse me. However, if you so desire, I don't mind giving you the full explanation of how the phrase mind your own business came into existence. Please, no. We already had a lecture about cooking. We don't need a lecture about how the phrase mind your own business came about. No, you're demonstrating right now that you don't know what the phrase means. What a fool you are, Shugo. This superficial knowledge you speak of is undeniably different from what we refer to as practical information. Excuse me. Even though you're pumped up about collecting knowledge inside that brain of yours, it never has any practical application. I suppose there's no helping that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're just saying the first thing that comes to mind. If that's the case, then you're... Excuse me. And Nana and I proceed to argue on and on and on. Jesus Christ. 15 minutes later. Fuck. I introduce myself to Ayasaki Takako once again. It's been so long, Takashiro Shugo-sama. Yeah, it has. When she bows to me, her golden hair flows down the nape of her neck and shines colossally as it catches the sun. Seeing that hair brings the memories flooding back inside my head. It all happened shortly after I had become a detective. It was a murder case in Izumu regarding a family inheritance. My duty was to protect the third daughter of the Ayasaki family, the one who possessed the inheritance rights, Ayasaki Takako. I'm so glad I was finally able to properly introduce myself to you, Shugo-sama. She beams back at me. Well, that aside, I can't believe that little girl grew up to be such a beautiful young lady. I'm really sorry about earlier. I let myself get riled up by Nana, and I didn't mean to ignore you, Ayasaki-san. No need to apologize. Please don't worry about it. Takako waves her hand around in rebuttal. She's the sheltered type who has a calm, gentle disposition. Yeah, thanks. Besides, I was kind of jealous of how well you guys were getting along with each other. No, we don't get along at all. Seriously? How cruel of you, Shugo. It hurts me when you flat out deny it like that. Takako-kun, don't let yourself be tricked by him. Shugo's just embarrassed. Let me tell you how things really are. Shugo and I have transgressed beyond brother and sister. We engage in acts of forbidden love. Oh my. Truly? No, she's lying. The truth is, I've given some serious thought to the proposal of severing all my ties with this little brat. Takako-kun, this is how Shugo expresses his love. Generally speaking, men are creatures that find it difficult to be honest. I don't know about that. I think Nana in particular is just somebody who's lost her fucking mind. If anybody doesn't know how to be honest, I think it's her. She frequently beats around the bush about fucking everything. Oh my, truly? I told you, she's lying. Normally, I'd be a bit suspicious at this point. Surely there's a limit to our naivete, even if she happens to be the daughter of the powerful Ayasaki family. Anyway, Nana, having you around just complicates things. Buzz off, will ya? Oh, no. Shugo, you're asking me to do the impossible. I have my duties as your little sister, you know. I can't just stand idly by and watch as my brother's chastity is threatened. Huh? Chastity? What the hell kind of strange things is she spewing out? Stop watching brother and sister anime. Whatever the fuck is influencing you to act like this. This is kinda a secret, but... Nana lowers her voice and points toward Takako. The truth is, Takako-kun's pretty horny. What? My eyes are involuntarily drawn to Takako's face. Oh my, Nana-san, you're embarrassing me. Why are you such an airhead? Even though Nana said something absolutely outrageous, Takako doesn't seem to mind much at all. She blushes slightly and giggles. Are spoiled rich girls all like this? Whoa, this is not the time to be impressed. Nana, aren't you being rude? You need to apologize to Ayasaki-san right this instant. Sheesh, if I do that, then you won't face the facts. Whatever, that doesn't change how things really are. Nana cocks her head towards me sadly. Takako-kun's such a dirty girl. Oh my, Nana-san. God damn it, I hate this girl. She's so stupid. Sheesh, at least deny it. There's gotta be some basis for this if you keep saying it, right? Yep, glad you asked. After nodding at me, Nana launches into her story, completely oblivious to the fact that she should be leaving right about now. It all happened 3 months ago. Please stop. I really don't... Oh my god. One day, after school, I was walking down the hallway with a magazine in hand, about to head on home. Oh, Nana-san. What's that you're so absorbed in? Oh, it's called hentai. Hey there, Takako-kun. You mean this? It's the newest issue of a literary magazine that went on sale this week, The High School Girl's Companion. Oh, really? Yep, actually, this publication mainly deals with forbidden love affairs between female classmates. I looked it over because I was curious, but I'm not sure I quite understand what they're talking about. Oh my god. Oh my, Nana-san. I know where this is going. One-sama, forgive me. Yumi's voice turned into a shrill whisper as she begged for mercy from Sachiko. However, Sachiko did not cease her cruel yet tender caresses. What the fuck? Is a Yuri magazine? There's nothing to be afraid of, Yumi. Just leave it all to me. I'll be gentle. Oh my. At long last, Sachiko's fingertips brushed against Yumi's sensitive button. There was a lewd noise as warm honey flowed out from between Yumi's petals. Come on! Oh, One-sama. Unable to bear it any longer, Yumi screamed as she dug her nails into Sachiko's back. Oh my god. Oh my, how exciting. How'd you feel after listening to that excerpt, Takiko-kun? Oh my, Nana-san. It's so embarrassing I couldn't possibly tell you. Oh. I see that you were able to understand Takiko-kun. I'm jealous. I feel like there's something faulty with the way I perceive things.
You're probably right about that.
Oh, is that so? Wait. Hold on just one second, Takashiro-nan. It's too early to give up. I might be able to obtain some insight if I try it out for myself. There's no better way to learn than by doing. It looks like I'm going to have to cross the Rubicon here. Righto. Takiko-kun, come with me. Oh? And that's how I ended up leading Takiko-kun into an empty classroom. Oh my fucking god. Is this really gonna turn into a fucking Yuri sex scene? Are you ready, Takiko-kun? Oh my, I'm so nervous. What the fuck? What the fuck? I slid my fingers between her thighs and touched the area inside her skirt. What area could you be referring to? Nana-san, forgive me. However, I did not cease my cruel yet tender caresses. There's nothing to be afraid of, Takiko-kun. Just leave it all to me. I'll be gentle. My slender white fingers burrowed their way into her underwear. Okay. There was a lewd noise as warm honey flowed out from between Takiko-kun's petals. Oh my god, the fucking metaphors. I'm not reading that. Unable to bear it any longer, Takiko-kun screamed as she dug her nails into my back. I don't see that happening. That's not happening on screen. It must not be true. I don't think that's a real fucking accurate depiction of what happened. I suppose you could just talk it all up to this extreme useful indiscretion. Wasn't the entire thing Nana's doing? I silently cursed my abomination of a little sister. I would too. However, there's one problem with this. It's all bullshit. Takiko-kun's reaction to this experiment was a lot more intense than I had expected. Oh, come on now, Nana. You can't be saying things like that in front of Shugo-sama. She blushes in embarrassment. Birds of a feather flock together. These two are pretty much the living embodiment of that saying. Don't you think it's strange as well, Shugo? I didn't feel a damn thing, even though we swapped roles and tried a bunch of different things. Seeing how seriously I'm taking this whole matter, I can only conclude that Takiko-kun is simply horny. How should I put this? You girls are both kind of weird. As we continue our pointless discussion, my appointed meeting time with Toji draws near. Oh, leaving already, Shugo? On one hand, I'm relieved that my relationship with Takiko-kun hasn't progressed, but on the other hand, I'm also somewhat sad. Well, I'm still a shining example of a pure-hearted mating. I'm torn between my feelings of love and friendship. How troubling. It looks like I won't be getting any sleep tonight. I'll give it a rest, Nana. I give her a light bonk on the noggin. Oh my. Ayasaki-san, you should pick some better friends. All joking aside, my sister is really weird. Oh, hopefully that bonk on the head helped clear her head of her impure thoughts. Though speaking of being weird, I suppose Takiko falls into that category as well. She's pretty much the definition of a fucking airhead. Not at all. Nana-san is one of my most precious friends. Right. Oh well, it's not like I can force her to sever her relationship with Nana. What a tearjerker this has turned out to be. Takiko-kun doesn't betray me even when you criticize me for who I am. I suppose I should call someone like her a true friend, huh? I can hear the emotion in Nana's voice. It's strange to hear my little sister saying something like that. Coming from her, it just sounds like a lie. Are you really leaving, Shugo-sama? Yeah, I have an appointment I can't skip out on. I apologize for not being able to have a fulfilling conversation, even though it's been so long since we've seen each other. Well, most of the blame for that lies with Nana. After hearing me out, Takiko abruptly turns to me with a serious look on her face and says, Oh, that's too bad. I wanted to talk to you about our promise. Promise? How about we meet again tomorrow, Shugo-sama? If you have free time, we could chat about it at our leisure. Tomorrow? Let's see. I don't believe I have any special plans scheduled for tomorrow. Sure, I don't mind. Let's do it. Oh, really? Hold it. Do you really think I'd let you two do something shameless like meeting up and hanging out together? I don't think you'd let us really do anything. I clamped my hand over Nana's mouth. I use a piece of rope sitting nearby to tie her up, then toss her back onto school grounds. Oh god, that's great. Now she won't be able to bother us anymore. Phew. Now we can talk in peace. Oh my, Shuko-sama. That's rather kinky. After conferring with Takiko about our plans tomorrow, I head off to meet with Toji. That was something. Phew. A sigh escapes from between my lips. Chatting with Nana and Takako tired me out more than I would have liked. Is it because I'm so much older than they are, or perhaps it's because they're both just plain weird? I think the latter. Yeah, it's definitely because they're both weirdos. Yeah. Thanks for reading my mind again. You're looking kind of depressed there, Shugo. Well, if you have a crazy little sister like Nana, then you might feel the same way. What's the matter? Are your wounds acting up? Nah. What wounds me is the fact that humans will never be able to truly understand each other. I see. I suppose it's true that I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, my wounds are doing just fine. I still have a minor headache, though. I see. The awkward silence drags on. Nana's talkativeness is pretty annoying, but Toji's reticence is kind of problematic as well. Why don't we just get down to business? Sure. Toji nods silently, then pulls out a notebook from her bag. It's information concerning that mistress, Hyo. Oh, so you finally got it. Hyo. She's the girl the Hand of Death is chasing, the girl who looks exactly like Kazuna. There's a very good possibility that it's Kozuki Yura under an assumed identity. I got this information from some associates within the Hand of Death. It should be somewhat reliable. Got it. Toji nods and flips through the notebook. It concerns the time before she disappeared. Apparently, Hyo made frequent visits to a certain religious cult's facilities. A cult? I'm pretty sure you've heard of them. It's a newly founded religion called Senri. Senri? I've heard the name from Toji before. The suspect's name is Shigusa Tokiko. Apparently, she's one of the leaders of a cult that's been gaining popularity recently in Ueno. So Senri is the cult that she belongs to. Yeah, I did some checking up on them as well. Hold on just a sec. Toji starts explaining as she leafs through her notebook. The group was founded in 1947, shortly after the war ended. They started out small. The cult consisted of only a few dozen members when they were first established in Ueno. At that time, their doctrines were still pretty normal. It used to be an unassuming tiny group that was centered around their clergy members. But then, 2 years ago, the Senri faith underwent a radical transformation. They built a temple in Tokyo and housed their most fervent believers there. The population of faithful practically exploded. They now have members ranging from top government officials to hobos living in the slums. But why the sudden change? There's no way the number of cultists would just increase like that without some sort of reason. Regrettably, I don't know the truth behind that as of yet. Toji turns a page in her notebook. However, their current leader is called the Holy Prophet. They just happened to show up around 2 years ago. Which means that this leader of theirs is the one who remade the cult. Their leader is spreading Senri through these so-called infallible prophecies that they make. Prophecies. Man, this just keeps getting fishier and fishier at every turn. Yeah, I didn't believe it at first either. However, the truth is, a lot of people signed on to the faith just because of those prophecies. You've got to be shitting me. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I'm shocked that the city of Ueno has become overrun with crazy cultists right before my very eyes. And then... Toji suddenly stops talking. Toji? She ponders things for a few moments, then continues. This doesn't have anything to do with Hyo, but there's something that's been bothering me. Whether you hear me out, Shugo. She lowers her voice. Sure, I don't mind. It's about the murder cases that happened recently in Ueno. You remember them, right, Shugo? How could I possibly forget? My hands had brushed against Rin's bleeding corpse. There's no way I could forget something like that. Apparently, all those murders were prophesized. What? A surprised yelp escapes through my lips. Since Toji looks unusually serious, I thought she was going to bring up something deep, but... Bullshit. They're surely just making things up. They probably just insisted they knew it all along after the fact, all in a day's work for that sham of a priestess. However, Toji's serious expression does not change. Even if they did it 2 years ago? Huh? The Senri faith assumed its current infrastructure under this leader 2 years ago. They made a prophecy that this world would be destroyed in the near future. The only way to be saved was to become a member of the cult, or so they claimed. Of course, you could just write it off as typical behavior for a false prophet. However, the murders occurred exactly as predicted. We can't just brush it aside as some crazy religious babbling anymore. Exactly as they predicted? That's right. Toji nods quietly. A beast that consumes human flesh, a dark-winged messenger from the heavens. That's what they foretold. A chill runs up my spine.
Is it not possible that they just planned this out years beforehand and did it exactly as they planned and said that it was just prophecy? I mean, you guys aren't really taking that into consideration. They refer to Fukumizu Kaoru and the strange corpse she produced.
According to them, those are the omens of our doom. Recently, a lot of people have been competing to join Senri in order to escape destruction. However, the only thought in my mind is, that's ridiculous. I shake my head in rebuttal. You still don't believe me, Shugo? People in the Hand of Death have seen the writings containing the prophecies with their own eyes. It's a simple coincidence. Or they're stretching it to fit. At any rate, prophecies in their ilk don't exist. Well, it's only natural to think that. Toji sighs. To tell you the truth, this creeps me out. I was tracking down the escaped mistress, and then this information came out of nowhere and blindsided me. The escaped mistress. Come to think of it, we were so engrossed in talking about the prophecies that I didn't even ask her about the main point. Toji, so that group and Hio are... But before I can finish asking my question... Oh, there she is. Ah, Shugo-san! Kazuna shows up, carefree as ever. Oh, Toji-san's here too. Wow, what a coincidence. I never thought I'd run into you as well. It makes me kind of happy. Right. Toji looks embarrassed by the unexpected intruder. Hey, what about your theater rehearsals? Isn't opening day coming up pretty soon? Kazuna had informed me that her duties with her company would prevent her from showing up at the Yukishiro in the near future. Oh, right, actually, we were right over there, having a conference about the performance tomorrow. Kazuna turns around and points toward the area farther inside the store. They all look like theater people to me. Well, yeah, it's our director, the investors, the artistic director, and... anyways, they're really important people, so I was mega nervous, yeah. Wow, you actually get nervous, Kazuna? Shugo-san, how can you casually make such a rude remark? Nah, I didn't mean it that way. I laugh off Kazuna's protests. But that means that this production is pretty massive, huh? You've got that right. Will everything really be okay with me as the lead actress? Hey, I'm not the one to ask. Oh, I'm sorry. It just... Kazuna regains her composure and continues. There's something else even more amazing. Depending on how my performance is in this production, they might send me overseas to study. Overseas? Why? The art of theater originated overseas. Plus, it's been my dream ever since I was a little girl. Kazuna's eyes sparkle brightly. Wow, that's pretty awesome. That means you gotta give it everything you've got tomorrow, huh? I nod, impressed. Shugo. I glance over to discover Toji with a grim look on her face. Oh, right. Whoops. I'd stopped for a pleasant chat with Kazuna, even though I was in the middle of my conversation with Toji. With a wry smile on my face, I turned to face Kazuna. Kazuna, Toji and I need to continue our discussion. I'm sorry, but could you... did I interrupt your work? I'm really sorry, Toji-san. I guess I've been riding on Cloud 9 all day long today. Kazuna bows in apology. No, it's fine. Just this last thing then. She presses stubs of paper into our hands. They're tickets for tomorrow's performance. Both of you guys please come and watch, okay? The title printed on the tickets is Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Oh wow, doing one of the classics, huh? Indeed. The theme of this performance is a reinterpretation of the classics. Someone suddenly speaks up from behind me. Huh? I spin around to find... It's going to be the real Shakespeare, free and full of passion, not like the refined, sanitized, revised editions found in textbooks and their ilk. Well, at least that's the spiel the director gave us. Standing there behind me is a young man wearing a composed expression. Huh? Kazuna makes a funny sound when she sees him. Akao-sensei, what are you doing here? Well, we're heading off to the next place, so I came over here to fetch you, Kazuki-san. Huh? It's time to leave already? Everybody's already waiting outside. What? I'm so sorry. I can't believe a newbie like me is holding everyone up. She bobs her head repeatedly in apology. Jesus Christ, she's just a ball of fucking boundless energy. Kazuna, who is he? I'm assuming he's someone involved in the production. Oh, sorry about that, Shugo-san. Here I am making a fuss all by myself without introducing you folks properly. Kazuna turns to face us and says, This is Aoko Ikumi. He's the artistic director for this production. Aoko Ikuma nods his head at me coolly. Nice to meet you, Kozuki-san? He turns to Kazuna, waiting for her to introduce us. Oh, right. These are my two good friends, Takashiro Shugo-san and Aoki Toji-san. Hello there. Toji and I both respond rather indifferently. Oh-ho! However, the young man's reaction is far more animated than anything I had expected. So you're Takashiro-san. He excitedly reaches out to shake my hand. I've heard rumors from Kozuki-san. You're the famous detective who cracked those bizarre murder cases. Well, I'm honored to meet you. Right. I can't believe she blabbed about it, even though I strictly told her to keep her mouth shut. Kazuna gets all flustered after I shoot her a distinctly accusatory look. There's nothing I can do about it at this point, since he already knows. I sigh deeply and turn to face Akuo. No, I can't take credit for that. Please, no need to be so modest. It must have been such a thrilling tale of high adventure, roaming through the city at night, meting out punishment to that inhuman monster. My oh my, it's shameful for a man of my age to say this, but I just love stories like that. Akuo then glances at his wristwatch. It's too bad. Unfortunately, I don't have time to chat today. How does this sound, Takashiro-san? Would you like to come over to my atelier for a visit sometime? To be perfectly honest, I'm rather reluctant to go. However, he is a friend of Kazuna's. I can't just flat out refuse him. Sure, I guess I don't mind. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Please do stop by. He claps his hands together in an exaggerated fashion. Aoko then leaves a business card with his address on the table. I'll be waiting for you. Come over anytime, whenever it's convenient for you, Takashiro-san. Fortunately, I have plenty of free time after tomorrow's production is over with. Sure, I got it. I'll just play along for the time being. Regrettably, I have zero interest in the fine arts. In reality, I probably won't have any chances to actually go and visit. I'm jealous, Shugo-san. I hear it's super rare to get invited over to Aoko-sensei's atelier, you know. Oh? When did that rumor start spreading around? I never intended to present myself as a recluse. He grins at Kazuna with the same composed expression on his face. You'd be most welcome at my place, Kozuki-san. Why don't you come hang out together with Takashiro-san? Eh? Seriously? Her eyes sparkle with joy. Well then, let's all look forward to that after our production's finished. Anyway, he takes Kazuna's hand and says, shall we go? Oh, sure. After energetically bidding us farewell, Kazuna is led out of the store by Aoko. I don't know how you pronounce that guy's name. Aoko? Aoko? Let's get out of here too. Toji stands up from her seat. Toji, we haven't finished our conversation. It's quite unlike her to cut things short in the middle of a conversation. Is she really that angry about those two interrupting? No. It's just faster to head straight there. What are you talking about? Senri's headquarters. It won't take us long to walk over there. You're coming with me, Shugo. Oh boy. Time to go to the cult. Hyo had started visiting the cult's temple a while before she disappeared. What did she seek from Senri? What did she believe? Even if the answers to those questions existed within the Hand of Death's information network, Toji was unable to find them. The people belonging to the cult have always been tight-lipped. They never open up their hearts to people not of their faith. Therefore, we have no other option but to pretend to be one of them and do some investigating from inside. That's the grand conclusion Toji has drawn. Well, come to think of it, there's no place like a religious organization to hide an ordinary person who has no outside support. Even the Hand of Death's extensive search network wasn't able to infiltrate Senri's temple. Everybody there forgets their pasts and devotes themselves wholeheartedly to the faith. Hyo might even be in there, right at this very moment. Shugo. Toji suddenly halts. Huh? What's wrong? It was kind of her to give this to me, but it conflicts with my schedule. Take it and put it to good use. She holds out the ticket that Kazuna had given to her. What a waste. Even though she lives in such a bloodthirsty world, Toji's favorite pastimes include activities like watching movies and reading. Are you sure, Toji? I don't think just anyone can get their hands on these. I have work to do. There's no way I can go. Toji's looking a great deal more glum than usual. She probably really regrets not being able to attend the performance. I suppose I'll take it then. I can probably try inviting Hatsune and Madame Ojaku or somebody else at the Yukishiro. Damn it all. Toji clicks her tongue in annoyance after I take her ticket. It's gonna be Kazuna's big debut too. Well, if you want to see it that badly, there's gotta be a way you can get out of it, right? Like getting someone to stand in for you or something? Toji's expression sours even more after I say that. Being that selfish would never fly. I have a certain image I need to uphold. Besides, it would cause trouble for the others. Not everyone leads as carefree a life as you do, Shugo. She glares at me bitterly. Oh, come on. I've had my share of hardships. But if I say the wrong thing now and incense her further, I'm going to leave this place in a world of pain. Even after I wisely decide to keep my mouth shut, Toji keeps grumbling. On our way to Senri's headquarters. Hold up. A thought suddenly pops into my head, and I draw to a halt. What's up, Shugo? How's this Senri investigation going to work? What do you mean? How long will it take? Well, let's see. Toji stops to ponder a bit. Sorry, but I can't give you an exact number. It'll depend on the reception Senri gives us. I see. If that's the case, then I'll definitely be needing some of those. Some of what? You know, emergency rations. We can't have my stomach growling in the middle of this important infiltration operation, right? Shugo, are you going to take this seriously? Yeah, you can even start calling me Mr. Serious. That's how serious I am. There's a glimmer of what looks like resignation in Toji's eyes. Whatever, just do what you want. I won't complain as long as you do your job when the time comes. Really? Thanks, Toji. I nod my thanks with my serious game face on. I've made a lot of plausible sounding excuses in my day. However, this time I really am just hungry. Well then, I scan over the gaudy signs of the restaurants lined up downtown. They all look pretty damn tasty to me. Which one should I pick? I suppose I'd be better off getting something to go. Unable to make a decision, I end up wandering around. Oh, it's him again. What the fuck are you doing here? Nuts. Our eyes met. What do I do? Of course, I'll head to another store. Might as well buy some takoyaki. Well, usually, whenever this happens, this is, we have to go with, we might as well buy some takoyaki. Well, come to think of it, the old man's takoyaki are far from nasty, but then again, they don't exactly have me drooling over them either. 2 orders of takoyaki, sir. Thanks for the business. Strangely enough, today he cooks them up for me without any objection. A delicious scent starts to rise up from the griddle after he pours in the batter. He is not bad when he puts his mind to it. As I watch him in admiration, a catchphrase written on the bottom of the price sign catches my eye. Closing sale. Takoyaki, 10 for 1 yen. What the hell? It looks like his closing sale will run until the end of February, which means that this old fellow's food cart is... nuts. You saw it, huh? I just kinda wanted to disappear without anybody noticing. I get a grip on myself just as I'm about to say, then why don't you just put that sign away? But sir, if you're closing then... Business ain't going so well, and all I'm left with in the end are debts. Lately I've been wondering whether the things HQ has been saying are true. I think I'm probably finished. Sir, I can't believe it. This old guy giving up? After shaking his head sadly, he continues. I just don't get it. Why don't my takoyaki sell? I really don't get it. I get a grip on myself just as I'm about to say, isn't it because you're scary looking? Man, I'll miss you. Hearing you say that is a relief. He flashes me an embarrassed grin and holds out a package with 5 orders of takoyaki. Take it. It's on the house. Sir, I accept this token of goodwill. I'll never be able to finish eating 5 orders, but I couldn't just refuse. Oh, that is pretty depressing. He's going out of business. Shugo. Toji regards me with contempt as I return bearing a large load of takoyaki in my arms. So you really are screwing around, huh? Wait, I can explain. It's really not my fault. Whatever, hurry up and eat. I'm tired of waiting. Will you help me out, Toji? No can do. You bought it, you eat it. Damn, that's cold. I reluctantly start munching away at the old man's takoyaki. I can taste his tears. It tastes bitter. Bittersweet. We leave the main streets of Oimachi and walk along the back of Ueno Park. The number of houses we pass by gradually decreases until we're completely surrounded by densely grown foliage. We should be arriving there pretty soon. There's a slight hint of tension in Toji's voice. Seeing her like this makes me start to get nervous too. Finally. Is this it? There's a break in the trees surrounding a steep stone stairway. Yeah, no doubt about it. A small shrine gate, hidden by the thick overgrowth of leaves, spans the staircase around halfway up. The black coating of paint on it looks relatively new. I get the impression that it's some kind of cheap knockoff that they've set up. Well, let's get this over with. Yeah, good luck. Toji nods and gives me a shove on the back. Wait, what the fuck? This is not what I agreed to. Huh? Whoa, hold it right there. Are you going to make me do all this by myself? She nods, her face impassive. Of course, that's why I brought you here. What are you going to do then, Toji? My appearance isn't suitable for undercover espionage. Come on, it's painfully obvious. With her deep red eyes, porcelain white skin, and missing arm, she does stand out a bit too much. Plus, she's pretty well known around this area as one of the top brass in the Hand of Death, which means that I have to infiltrate this place on my own. Well, that's the plan. Oh, give me a break. It's easy for her to say. I'm not even mentally prepared, having had this suddenly sprung on me. Senri is a rather shady cult, but I don't think you'll be in any danger as long as they don't know your true identity. Act like one of their followers, try not to stand out, and get some information about Hyo. Nodding with her poker face on, Toji once again pushes me in the direction of the temple. It looks like resisting will be futile. God damn it. My wounds still haven't healed either. What a slave driver. I sigh and start climbing the stone stairway. Ugh. After I finish ascending the steep stone steps, I'm greeted by a surprisingly well-maintained clearing. Oh man, I don't like this. It's a tense, solemn atmosphere that's practically palpable. A holy sanctuary, or so it would seem. Even I can sense there's something special about this place, despite my lack of faith. Well, I guess I'm sure it's difficult to resist the pull of this place if you've never experienced anything like it before. I feel as though I'm starting to see why the number of people believing in Senri has increased so drastically. Well then, I can't be standing out here in the open all day. It's dead quiet within the temple grounds, but there should be a bunch of clergy lodging around inside the buildings. If I'm to pretend to be a member of the faith, I need to start off by checking around there. This is a sneaking mission, Snake. Let's see. Let's begin by approaching the front of the building and taking a look around what's inside. Here we go. And the moment I take a step, the door suddenly swings open and a man who looks like a cultist steps towards me. Hey, you over there. His voice is full of suspicion. To my regret, I have no time to hide. I don't want to start any trouble here. Damn, I'm going to have to trick him somehow. You know that entry is prohibited except to those of the faith, right? The man stares me down dubiously. I think up a lie to feed him as I try to make myself appear as unthreatening as possible. Actually, I was thinking about joining Senri. Oh, so you're an aspiring member, huh? The man nods haughtily. Today's not a good day. Leave, now. Seriously? But they told me that the leader would take in all those who desired salvation. That's not actually what I had heard, but that's the general impression you get from the propaganda that the cult's been spreading. Please save me, Father. I've renounced all my worldly desires. I drop to my knees, put on the most wretched face I can muster, and cling to the man's knees. The best way to dispel his suspicion is to try to get him to let his guard down. Hey! The man pulls away frantically. I beg of you. The moment I raise my voice to ask him again. What's going on here? I freeze when I hear that mysterious voice. I can't believe she actually showed up. It's the girl Toji told me about a while ago, Shigusa Tokiko. She's the one that was taken into custody as a suspect in Ota's murder. I'm terribly sorry, Tokiko-sama. This guy has been insisting that I accept him into the faith, is what the man reports to her. You can tell that she ranks higher in their hierarchy, just from the way the man addresses her. I quickly snapped my mouth shut. I'll have to wait until later to deal with my suspicions regarding Shigusa Tokiko. At the moment, I'm just your average aspiring cultist. I have to be careful not to say anything that'll make them suspicious. Excuse us. She turns to face me after the man's finished his explanation. It looks like it wasn't explained in enough detail to you. We have a rule in place that says aspiring members must first meet with Her Holiness. I see. I suppose that means I'm going to get turned away here. I'd very much like to meet with Her Holiness if possible. She silently scrutinizes me. It's an inhuman stare, without a single flicker of emotion. I start to recoil under the enormous pressure. Excuse me, but what is your name? Bob. My name's Hank. What do I do? It'll be bad news if I give out some terrible-sounding fake name and they get suspicious. I'm Takashiro Shugo. Alright, Takashiro-sama. Her Holiness sees all. She then bows and turns around to leave. Hold on, please. I call out to her in consternation. You're not going to let me meet with Her Holiness? Her Holiness has already gone to bed. Allow us to arrange a date for a meeting. Give your contact address to him. She points to the man waiting next to her. Come on. Those are the rules of our faith. Her reply is short and curt. It looks like I have no way of trying to curry favor with her. Okay, I understand. If you do, then please leave. Neither of them let their guard down, probably because they were suspicious of my background. Well, there's nothing more I can do here. All I can do is nod in agreement and leave Senri's compound. Well, that was rather pointless. Toji's waiting for me at the bottom of the stone stairway as I arrive back without any substantial results. Huh? Back already? There she stands, giving me that scrutinizing look once again. Did you find anything? Not a single word of gratitude. Damn, she's cold. I got turned away. They said entry's prohibited except to members. Then why didn't you try to break inside? Thought so. My subordinates got manhandled out at that point. Whoa there, Toji. If I'd slipped up, then wouldn't the same thing have happened to me too? So when all's said and done, we've got nothing, huh? I was hoping you'd be able to think up something clever, Shugo. No, I didn't come back empty-handed. I actually have a meeting scheduled with their leader. Oh. They said that they'll contact me whenever she has an opening in her schedule. Choji places a finger to her lips and ponders things. At any rate, the only lead we have on Hyo comes from this cult. I'll go and see if I can dig up some of the identities of the members. We might be able to find some valuable information. And as for you, I know, I'll continue playing the part of aspiring cultist and infiltrate the organization. Toji nods, a gravely serious look on her face. That's right, I'm counting on you, Shugo. She's one hell of a slave driver. Oh, that got us absolutely nothing. It's quite late when I get back to the Yukishiro. There are a lot of rooms without lights on. It looks like we've been getting less customer traffic ever since those murders. I greet one of the staff at the entrance, then head back up to my room. Well then, it's time I started trying to put together all the puzzle pieces that I have laid aside. One of them deals with Yura's accident 10 years ago, the topic Kozuki Keiichiro didn't want to broach. How is that accident related to her disappearance? Something just doesn't sit right with me about this. Perhaps that's a good point to start approaching the mystery. Pardon the intrusion, sir. The madam greets me as she knocks on the screen door. It looks like she's finally made time to sit down and have a talk with me after tidying up all the affairs concerning the Yukishiro. Ah, madam, sorry to make you come all the way up here. I slide the screen door open and welcome her into my room. It's gotta be some urgent business, correct? Yeah, there's something I'd like you to investigate for me. Oh? It's been a while since you've asked me to do something for you. You know, I'm gonna have to require something in return, sir. Yeah. Madame Ojaku is not only the manager of the Yukishiro, but an information broker as well. She gets information from her large circle of acquaintances as well as people she does business with. It's then sold at high prices to people who seek it. A guy like me doesn't possess the exorbitant sums she commands. Naturally, I'll have to pay with something other than money. Like my body. I'll take my payment the same way I usually do that. Is that acceptable, sir? The depressed look she's been wearing for the last few days has completely vanished. I guess opening back up the Yukishiro for business again must have lifted her spirits. Alright, that works. I toss her an ambiguous reply. Well, I'm looking forward to this. She shoots me a seductive look. All I can do is scratch my head and force out an awkward laugh in return. Yeah, we all know what's about to happen here. So what would you ask of me, sir? Let's see. I explained to her the details of my job from the Kozuki family. I've brought it up several times in conversation, but this is the first time I've explained the entire situation to her. Madame Ojaku listens to me explain with a grim look on her face. And thus. I see how it is. She nods in understanding after I finish speaking. So you want me to investigate that accident? Yeah, please. I could easily get my hands on the newspaper articles from that time if I wanted to, so... I know what you're trying to tell me. What you want isn't that sort of information. What you're looking for is rumors and legends that spread amongst people living there, correct? Yeah, exactly. I'm glad the madam is quick on the uptake. Kozuki Keiichiro is excessively concerned with how society views him. He wouldn't want people knowing that something scandalous happened 10 years ago. And well, perhaps something did happen. Well, if we're talking 10 years ago, that's when we were caught up in the war. Don't expect too much, alright? I'm well aware that when she smiles like that, it's just modesty on her part. Not at all. Anything helps.